Well, Arsenal last played in this competition in the season of 2016-2017, that is the Champions League, and they are knocked out by Bayern Munich on an aggregate of 10 goals to 2, and it was 5-1 at the Emirates and 5-1 at the Allianz Arena, and that was really bad. And Arsenal looked to lose on an aggregate of 10-2, and the same fixture comes into play with Arsenal coming in through a much more better team, one of the most informed teams in the world, if at all you are not afraid to say that, and they're really a very big team. Ever since this calendar year went ahead to start, Arsenal have gone ahead to lose only one game, and they lost it away at FC Porto, and I don't think that they really deserve to lose that game of football, if at all their goalkeeper really acted right, and if at all Arsenal went ahead to obviously poach for goal. If you look at that fixture they played at FC Porto, Arsenal was like, we're okay with a draw. That was the plan for Mikel Arteta. But later, Galeno in the dying minutes went ahead, obviously going in for a spectacular, and it went into the top corner. And this guy, David Raya, couldn't obviously come to its savior because he was like a mile off from his goal line and couldn't obviously save that ball. But Arsenal returned and went ahead to beat FC Porto in penalties after accomplishing 90 minutes, 1-0. Level up, they went to extra time, they leveled up, and they went to the penalties, and it was David Raya who came to their savior, and it was really something great for the side of Arsenal, and they went ahead to do a lot at that stadium of Emirates. Now they have to face Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich were beaten away in Italy by 1-0, and they came to Allianz Arena, and they really won that game of football, I think by 3-1. It was really very, 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 very intense, and they qualified for the quarterfinal. But I tell you, they are really in a very bad form. This is the worst form you'll ever want to see Bayern Munich in, and I think the people at Bayern Munich are asking themselves, why did we sack Nagelsmann? Because last season, I saw Bayern Munich knock out PSG. Right? Which team they knock? I think it's Man City that knocked out Bayern Munich, and I see no reason as to why you can sack a manager, because Man City has knocked you out. Man City is one of the best teams in the world, and ever since they sacked Nagelsmann, I think Bayern Munich has tripped off because they cannot even compete in their league. Right now, Grand Xhaka's Bayern Leverkusen is sat 16 points ahead of them on the table. 16 points. Xabi Alonso has gone ahead to school Thomas Tuchel. And Bayern Leverkusen is still in the UEFA Europa League. It might even go away with a double, you understand. And we might really see a final between Liverpool and Bayern Leverkusen. Then, in the Champions League, this team is struggling, and I tell you, it's going to be hard for them to come in through, because over the weekend, Heidenheim went ahead to beat them by 3-2, and it was really very shameful that it's a team that really scored fast that went ahead to lose. So it's really ugly. Though they're having experienced players, but they're really having a very bad day. Good morning, everyone watching in the Rokani Media Football. I decided to wake up onto this Arsenal versus Bayern Munich match preview because I know how much it is important to the Arsenal fans. I want to feed your eyes first with this, as you're so much geared into this. For Arsenal, in the midweek, they went ahead to beat Luton Town by 2-0, and most players were really rested. Then over the weekend, he came up and really named a strong squad, and they went ahead to beat Brighton by 3-0. So Arsenal is in epic form in the Premier League. In 12 games, they've gone ahead to win 11, and they've gone ahead to draw 1 ever since this calendar year commenced. So they're not having any injuries. That is it. Arsenal don't have any injured player. They don't have any injured player. Even Julian Timber is okay, but the manager just wants to give him time to obviously get ready to where he's supposed to be. That is Julian Timber for you. Then when we go to the side of Bayern Munich, oh my God, they're having a couple. The only boost they're really having is that they're welcoming back their defender Upamecano, who went ahead to get a red card. It was a straight red card when they're playing Lazio, meaning that he was supposed to miss out on 2 games, and he's returning in action. But I tell you, if he returns, that will be a blessing in disguise for the side of Arsenal, because he's this kind of player who is just a mistake away from really costing his team. Then, when you look at Arsenal, So when you look at the other players that are really doubtful, Manuel Neuer is having a groin injury. He's gonna be put under what we call a late fitness test. And all these players I'm talking about never featured into the game where they lost the weekend. Kingsley Coleman is also out. Leroy Sen is having a groin injury. Mazaru is ill. Pavlovic is having an illness. And Gabriel Marusic is having an ACL injury. Buchaman is having a hamstring injury. Bonasa is having an ACL injury. Saja Boy is having a hip injury. And Noel Aseko is having an ankle injury. So they are really depleted. But however much they're really depleted, they can put out a very strong squad. And let's see how Arsenal is really going to line up into this beautiful fixture where they have to win it, come rain, come sunshine. The system is a 4-3-3 for the side of Arsenal, and that's well versed with the side of Arsenal, no doubt about it. They put up a 4-3-3 always, every time they're really gonna play, and I don't see Mikel Arteta changing that game of football. And Bayern Munich are really on a very bad side of the bed because they are not gonna be having any fans into those stadiums. No fans in those stadiums, and that's gonna make this very ugly for them to obviously clinch even a point at the Emirates. In goal, David Raya, no doubts. He was the Arsenal hero to take them to this round, and it is really very important to note that they are gonna really face the best of the best into this, and it's gonna be David Raya in between the stitches to obviously give Arsenal a very good goal in there for you. No doubt about him. Over the weekend, he really looked good. He made a stunning save, right? It was really stunning in the game of Brighton onto the top bottom corner, and he was really magnificent. He's looking good in shape, and he's good to go to take Bayern Munich and face them on. Right back, Benjamin White. He's not gonna really be changed, and Benjamin White needs to be in the right mind of his needs to sleep on the right side of his bed, because Serge Gnabry, who's returning to Arsenal, a former Arsenal player, is ready to obviously give him what we call a stunner, like a shocker, because that boy is really brilliant and good in the ball. He can really twist and turn him left, right, and center, and obviously leave him to the ground. So he needs to be so much into the game. But we're going to hate to see it that he has gonna hate to really look good defensively, and going forward, he's one of those you can rely on to give you a pass that can really result into an assist or act as a secondary assist. Our left back, with all these games that Kivya is not going to be played, I don't think that Arteta is going to really bring him in. I think it's going to be Tomiyasu to obviously come in through and really close down that side of Bayern, the left side of Arsenal. With Bayern not having Leroy Sen, who is really absent, and we're just going to wait to know whether he's going to travel with the side of Bayern Munich. They might obviously use Musiala to play that side, or Serge Gnabry to play that side, and Musiala to play on the left. And whoever plays that side is really deadly, I tell you. He's really deadly, and he might obviously put up a show. But all we know about Tomiyasu, he's solid. And whoever comes his way, Tomiyasu will be ready to obviously take him on. And we know how good he is. He has been playing off the bench in the previous 2-3 games. They've gone here to play against Brighton, Luton Town, against Man City. He has been playing off the bench, but this time round I really think he's gonna come up and really get into the starting 11. Zinchenko starting him, good idea going forward, bad idea defending. That's what Arteta should know, because I saw him start him in the previous 2 games, and he might think of his Champions League experience and obviously bring him in. But if Arteta wants to go further, I don't think Zinchenko should come close to this game. Zinchenko should only come on later. But starting it with him, Bayern is going to target him. Bayern Munich will target Zinchenko until when they take him off the field of play. So when you're starting a game like this, get in your best solid back 4 and you really humiliate them. After humiliating Bayern Munich, then you can bring in Zinchenko to do his dilly-dallying into the game. Right-sided centre-back, William Saliba comes into play, and Gabriel Magalhaes comes into play again. And I tell you what, that central defense you're going to hate to see has not gone ahead to concede a goal in the Champions League at the Emirates. Is there a team that has gone ahead to score against Arsenal at the Emirates? That's one of the things people should know, that even if it is, Arsenal has not gone ahead to concede more than one goal at the Emirates, because I remember they beat PSV 4-0, 6-0 against RC Lens. They beat Sevilla 4, I think it was 4-0. They beat FC Porto, you get, 1-0. And they're hosting Bayern Munich. It shows you that at home, they are not conceding any goal. But in the Premier League, it's vice versa. In the Premier League, at home, they're conceding, and away, they are not conceding. And the Champions League, I think every game they've gone ahead to play away, they've gone ahead to concede. PSV, 1-1. Sevilla, 2-1. RC Lens, they conceded 2-1. And against FC Porto, it ended 1-0. But I tell you, Arsenal is really having a very beautiful team. In the midfield, I call upon I think this guy is going to start. Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey. You know, sometimes you need experience, and you very much need it in the middle of the park. Thomas Partey is one of those that really played very many Champions League games while he was at Atletico Madrid, and he even played in the Champions League finale of 2016 where they lost out on penalties, I think, and he's going to come up to put up a show for the side of Arsenal, and I think he should start in that midfield, and he should face the likes of Goretzka, Joshua Kimmich, Konrad Laimer, and very many others. And you know, he's a very good player. He has shown his potential, and no one doubts what he can do in this game because of what he did when he came on against Man City. He played well against Luton Town, and he was one of the unused substitutes when Arsenal was beating the team called Brighton, meaning that the manager was preparing him for this grand occasion at the Emirates that's going to be commencing tomorrow. Now, which other player is going to really play alongside his shoulders? I think Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard comes in to play onto the other side of Thomas Partey, and these are kind of games where Martin Odegaard is going to enjoy himself because Bayern is a team that's going to give you space. All I know, they're going to come up and try to park the bus, but they are not good defensively. He will obviously go through them. They're not good defensively. Then Declan Rice is another man that you expect Arsenal to play in the midfield, to play as the number 8 into that midfield, and that energy in that midfield is really going to be huge because the least performing player as far as intensity and energy is concerned is Martin Odegaard, but you all know what his influence is. His influence is really huge, and it's really one of those that you'll always want to see in the midfield. So the energy is really going to be huge. They're going to fight for every ball, and the mission is going to be, let's kill off this game, and by the time we go to Allianz Arena, we'll be there to just protect this win. But I won't be shocked if at all Jorginho is given a go into that game to start, because he's also an experienced player, and he went ahead to put in an assist when Arsenal is playing against Brighton, and he knows these teams best because Thomas Partey last played in the Champions League 8 years back. Jorginho has been playing the Champions League. Even in the season where he leaves Chelsea, I think they played in the Champions League, and I think they knocked out at the semi-finals. Were they semi-finals or quarter-finals? I think the quarter-finals were knocked out by Real Madrid. I really understand. So that brings a lot to you that he is not a Champions League novice. Yet Thomas Partey, I think he is. He's a Champions League novice, and maybe the manager will go, let me go Jorginho. But Thomas Partey knows what it means to play at this grand stage. Now, right forward, no doubt. This guy was passed fit by Mikel Arteta. He was asked after the game of Brighton that why he took him off. The manager confirmed to us that the player is 100% okay and is in the mood to start, to take on and to mate his opponents in there at the Emirates. Saka went ahead to score a penalty, but he had some two good chances that were denied to turn into goals by the goalkeeper. He is really trying to build his form. And by the way, these are kind of games that Saka needs to come out and showcase. This has been a regular talk, a regular vibe of me about Bukayo Saka, that he needs to come out and dent these big teams. You know, he raised up when they're playing against Liverpool. I think he scored a goal. Against Man City, he didn't. So against most of the big teams that Arsenal have gone ahead to be playing, Saka's not going to hit raise for the occasion. So These are the kind of games that you would want to see Bukayo Saka raise up to the occasion and obviously give us the best that he deserves as a player. Then we go to the left forward. Martinelli, Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, name it. Rest Nelson. I think it's going to be Gabriel Jesus. Looks like the manager wants to play him as a left forward throughout the remaining games of the season and see how he's really going to go. Because you saw he earned them a penalty and he had some good 2 chances. Even when they're playing against Man City, you know, he had some good chances. Every time he's being played as a left forward, you see something different from him. Though even when he's played as a center forward, you really enjoy his movement. And his problem has been him not being clinical. In the game of Man City, he got some 2 chances. He couldn't score. And in the game of Brighton, he had some 2 chances. One where he headed wide, but he compensated all that when he won Arsenal a penalty that Bukayo Saka went ahead to take in the 33rd minute to give Arsenal a lead. So Jesus, I think, is going to be played as a left forward, and maybe the others will only come on through off the bench. And because of his Champions League experience, you have to obviously have him on the field of play. And guess what? Mr. Champions League, that is Kai Havertz, is going to lead the line. He's in epic form. I tell you what, he's in epic form. 9 goals in the Premier League and 5 assists. He is really, really on fire. And Bayern Munich should really get worried about this young man because he's going to come up and really cause a lot of havoc. And it will depend on which partnership they're going to use. Is it Upamecano, Diot, and Kim Min-jae? I've read out on a story that Eric Dyer and Matthias de Ligt had abysmal of a game when they're playing over the weekend and they're out of the plans of the manager. And I tell you, Diot Upamecano coming in through, this guy is going to really tear him apart. And who's going to play as the right back, you know, because Mazuru is injured? Is it going to be Joshua Kimmich or Konrad Laimer? And I think it's going to be Joshua Kimmich. Jesus has all what it takes to really clinch him off. But there is Alphonso Alves. That is the guy I think that is really going to cause havoc to the side of Arsenal. Defensively is good, and Saka needs to be up in his form to obviously stop that guy. He's really deadly. Alphonso Alves, he's really deadly. Very, very deadly. And he's that kind of guy that goes forward very well and defensively is really good. Press resistant. That's where Real Madrid want to go all in for him. So that is my predicted starting 11 for Arsenal. And I'm going to come up with that of Bayern Munich later. You know, I just want to know which players are going to hit trouble for Bayern Munich. Then I'll come up and obviously let you know. Because the likes of Manuel Neuer, Leroy Sane, Coleman, the Mazurus of this world are just into their late stages of obviously being past fit. So I would love to know whether they've gone ahead to pass them fit. If they have, then I'll come here and really give you the vibe about it. So that is it coming in through from the starting 11 probable of Arsenal. But what is the stature of this game going to be like? Bayern Munich are going to park the bus and they're going to try to hit Arsenal on the break. That's their game plan. But I tell you, Bayern is really weak. Man United went to Bayern Munich and that game ended 4-3. When they came to Old Trafford, they beat United by 1-0. Now, Arsenal is the best team in the league, is going to face Bayern Munich that was almost beaten by Man United, and Man United were really totally off. So what I can tell you is simple. Arsenal are really favorites to really clinch this. I respect the pedigree, but pedigree has gone ahead to die off. Where was pedigree last season when Man City was really beating Inter Milan, knocking out Real Madrid, knocking out Bayern Munich? Man City had not gone ahead to win any trophy in the Champions League. The best they had done was to play a Champions League final in 2021. That's the best they did, you know. But they went ahead to obviously knock out teams with huge Champions League pedigree to go ahead and really clinch it. They knocked out Bayern Munich, they knocked out Real Madrid, and in the final, they went ahead to beat Inter Milan. All those teams have a better pedigree than Man City. So everyone who's fronting pedigree, it's not going to work here. It's not going to work here because Chelsea winning the Champions League in 2012, it never required it to have pedigree. because they had not won a head to win it in their lifetime, and they beat a team known as Bayern Munich in the final that knew all the corners of winning the Champions League. So for me, pedigree, I cross it out. People are saying pedigree, Bayern will turn out. I don't see Bayern turning out. And these are the head-to-head stats that give Bayern Munich a huge pedigree when it comes to Arsenal that I just have to read to you. But I tell you, they're not going to come into play. 1. Arsenal have lost their last 3 games against FC Bayern Munich by the same 5-1 scoreline in the UEFA Champions League, which is their joint biggest margin of defeat in European football, 4 goals. The most recent meeting in March 2017 was also Arsenal's heaviest defeat in any competition at the Emirates. I told you that, 5-1 at Emirates and 5-1 at the Allianz Arena. Now, secondly, this is the 50th UEFA Champions League campaign in which Arsenal and FC Bayern Munich will meet in the knockout stages, with the German side progressing on all previous occasions. In 2004-2005, Bayern knocked out Arsenal. 2012-2013, Bayern knocked out Arsenal. 2013-2014, Bayern knocked out Arsenal. 2016-2017, Bayern knocked out Arsenal. All in the round of the last 60. Now they face them at the round of 8. FC Bayern Munich have only lost one of their last 6 away games against English sides in the UEFA Champions League. They're having 4 wins and 1 draw, with their only defeat in that run coming against Manchester City last season. In the 3 games played in London in the period versus Arsenal, Spurs and Chelsea, the German side won all 3 by an aggregate of 15-3. And this time round they're returning to London because they're going to have to beat Spurs, Arsenal and Chelsea, but they're facing an Arsenal side that is going to have to emulate itself, and they're going to have to mushroom into one of the best teams in the world. And I tell you what, it's really going to be a huge one and a very hard game for the side of Bayern Munich. And then fourthly, this will be Arsenal's first game in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League since 2009-2010, when they lost 6-3 on aggregate against Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. Indeed, the Gunners have only progressed from 2 of their last 7 quarterfinals ties in the European Cup and the UEFA Champions League to date. I remember the only time I'm gonna hate to say Arsenal qualify or go past the round of 8, that was the season of 2009, where they are knocked out on the semi-finals by Man United. Man United went ahead to play at Wembley. Sorry, they went ahead to play in the final against it was against Barcelona, and Pep Guardiola went ahead to beat United by 2-0. And then they went ahead to progress in 2000, 2005, 2006, where they played in the Champions League final, and they went ahead to beat Juventus, Real Madrid. They played Barcelona in the final, so they knocked out very big teams in there for you. Then, fifthly and lastly, FC Bayern Munich have lost their last 2 away games in the knockout stages of the UEFA Champions League. And the last time they lost 3 in a row away from home in the knockout rounds was between April 2009 and April 2010 defeats to Barcelona, Fiorentina, and Man United. Now, this side of Bayern Munich just has the name, but they don't have all what it takes to knock out a team like Arsenal. And I cannot really rule out them beating Arsenal, but at Emirates, I don't see it coming. I see Arsenal beating Bayern Munich by 3-0. I'm giving you my prediction. Arsenal 3, Bayern Munich 0. That is it. Because Bayern Munich has good players, but they are really a very dented side. They cannot come out and be back at the Emirates. What would have gone ahead to help them to back out would have been the fans. They are not going to travel with them to the side of Emirates. It's going to be a fully packed. Arsenal Stadium. As you see there, 60,700, right? 4 fans are going to be supporting one team. they are not going to be having away fans. So, because they went ahead to really misbehave in that fixture of Lazio, and UEFA went ahead to ban them. So, guys, your predictions are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about my probable starting 11 and my prediction? I got 3, Bayern Munich 0. That is it. Good morning. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And the Muslims, Ramadan Kareem. I've been told Eid is around the corner. Wednesday might be the day, and it might be a public holiday. But on Tuesday, Arsenal would have gone ahead to smash Bayern Munich. Remember my words. I'm out.